Kids, look away. These are not your Saturday morning cartoons. Hey guys, it's Phoebe from WatchMojo, and today we're counting down the top 10 darkest animated shows.
No, don't make me see. Xavier, I can't.
Think you know Nickelodeon? Click here to sign in with your Google or Facebook account and take the new trivia quiz on WatchMojo.com.
Okay, bye.
We're looking at animated TV shows that deal with dark or disturbing subject matter, as well as those that have a dark aesthetic. Let's take a look.
Return the slab, or suffer my curse.
Number 10. South Park.
Now our Critter Christmas can finally happen. Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
This long-running series may focus primarily on 4 young elementary school-aged boys, but it's anything but kid-friendly. Along with its signature style of merciless satire and parody, South Park pulls no punches with its subject matter either. The show regularly features death and gore, most notably Kenny's frequent deaths, as well as other dark themes, including child abuse and rape. Cartman in particular is prone to committing acts that have the potential to scar adult viewers, let alone a child unfortunate enough to stumble upon the sitcom.
Yes, it is the most genius plan ever. Scott Tenorman is going to wish he never met me!
Number 9. Happy Tree Friends. Don't let the title and animation fool you. This one isn't for kids either. Happy Tree Friends follows a group of cute, colorful animals, whose adventures almost always turn out decidedly disgusting. The critters' escapades almost always devolve into gory, violent messes that, if they don't end up killing them, consistently cause them gross bodily trauma. While most of the shows on our list feature dark or violent subject matter as a part of their presentation, with Happy Tree Friends, it's essentially the central conceit of the premise. Number 8. Courage the Cowardly Dog. In contrast to our last 2 entries, Courage the Cowardly Dog is for kids, but it's no the less dark for it. Following the eponymous scaredy dog as he tries to protect his owners from various supernatural creatures and happenings, the series takes a lot of inspiration from horror films, both in its aesthetic and its content. Despite the series being a children's cartoon, the threat of death is frequently present, often from something unusual or grisly. While Courage may be a coward, we're not sure we could be as brave as he is in the face of such horrors. Number 7. Samurai Jack.
I'll need some weapons.
Let's get back to the past, when Genndy Tartakovsky's surprisingly dark show aired on Cartoon Network. Following the adventures of a samurai who is transported forward in time by his evil nemesis Aku, the series sees Jack trying to find a way home, while helping those suffering under the villain's rule. Although the show edges around showing blood for the most part by using robots, there's still quite a bit of violence, and occasional moments of horror. The final season delves even further into dark territory by featuring more overt death and violence, and showing Jack himself in a notably darker light.
This samurai has failed his purpose and has accepted his fate.
Number 6. Æon Flux. Set in a futuristic dystopia, Æon Flux follows the eponymous heroine as she goes on covert and not-so-covert missions. The shadowy cyberpunk setting makes for a bleak tone, while the missions Æon Flux undertakes are often violent. This is because of either their purpose, like assassination, or else because they go wrong, or turn out to be something else entirely, with the death tolls of some episodes climbing into the hundreds or thousands. Æon Flux herself isn't excluded from this either, as she's shown to die both in the animated shorts and the series itself. Number 5. Gargoyles.
What could be strong enough to leave claw marks in solid stone?
One of the darkest Disney cartoons ever made, Gargoyles follows a group of winged creatures who turn to stone during the day and protect New York City by night, while also uncovering what became of their people. Given that most of it takes place at night, the overall look of the show is dark by default, but the atmosphere is also notably gothic. Not only are there fight scenes aplenty, but also the Gargoyles' past is analogous to genocide, while several of the series' present villains are murderers. Disney went dark alright, but it made for a complex and well-written show.
Still laughing, Hunter? Come, meet your doom.
Number 4. Rick and Morty.
I basically mixed this with a more contagious flu virus. It should neutralize the whole thing, Morty.
An adult animated sci-fi series, Rick and Morty follows a drunk genius scientist and his awkward grandson as they go on adventures through outer space and other dimensions. Rick and Morty's adventures get really dark, as the pair of them, though usually Rick, are responsible for countless deaths along the way, and deal with a lot of mind-blowing weirdness that proves emotionally scarring, at least to Morty. Speaking of emotional damage, the crap Rick and the rest of his family put each other through is almost as bad as the stuff they encounter on their adventures. That being said, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more brilliantly written animated series.
That's dark. Oh, it gets darker, Morty. Welcome to the darkest year of our adventures.
Number 3. Batman the Animated Series.
It doesn't concern you.
It's my concern now.
Arguably the definitive animated version of Batman, the animated series may have a little bit of campy humor, but its major distinguishing feature is how dark it is. Created on the heels of Tim Burton's Batman films, the animated series features a noir and gothic art style that relies heavily on shading. To match the visuals, the show tackles plenty of grim subject matter and featured a lot more violence, or at least the threat of it, than you typically see in superhero cartoons. Some of the Dark Knight's villains were particularly chilling. And no, we're not just talking about Mr. Freeze.
That revenge is a dish best served cold.
Number 2. The Max.
I heard you almost bit off Baker's finger this time.
I didn't do it.
Based on the Image comic series of the same name, the Max follows the eponymous character, who's a homeless man in the real world, but also spends time as his highly muscular, colorful alter ego in a strange alternate one called the Outback. Along with the trippy visuals, the Max features plenty of violence and dark subject matter, particularly since the main villain, Mr. Gone, is a serial rapist. Gloomy, shocking, and thoroughly bizarre, the Max is almost the darkest animated show on our list. Almost.
Blacking out. Lost too much blood.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Take me to your leader.
Boarding shuttle to the Resolute.
JT, the work crew shuttle, it's...
I know. Resolute, this is JT Marsh. We're coming in.
Oh wow, that's a great offer! How about instead I shuffle the functions of every hole in your face?
And now, I bring your death.
We're here to make coffee metal. We will make everything metal. Blacker than the blackest black times infinity.
Number 1. Todd McFarlane's Spawn.
Stay back!
You don't want to do that.
Based on Todd McFarlane's comic series of the same name, naturally, Spawn follows the titular demonic hero, a former serviceman who is resurrected in hell to fight evil both hellish and earthly. The art style is thoroughly gritty and sometimes grisly, particularly given the hero's cadaverous appearance without his mask. The episodes, meanwhile, are full of betrayal, corruption, murder, and death, with little sugarcoating. Spawn's world is a dark one indeed, but hey, from the creator of Venom, would you expect any less? This series doesn't hold back, and it's rightfully earned the distinction of being one of the greatest comic book cartoons of all time. I don't know about you guys, but Happy Tree Friends scarred me for life. Which dark animated shows do you love? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.